Okay, everybody, let's recap the lesson. So here's what we had today. I'm on page 274. Page 274. Okay, here's the problem. Cody and Jessica both have houses that border the park. Cody needs to know the width of the park. Jessica needs to know the length of the park. Now we know from a perimeter problem that the perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So for Cody needs to know the width. So we take our perimeter equation and we solve for the width. Now even though these are letters, we can still do it. We just have to be careful. So to solve for the width, that's the width. Here's my equation. P equals 2L plus 2W. So to get the width, I need to get rid of all of the numbers, letters around W. So let's get rid of the 2L. So I'm going to subtract 2L to cancel out and subtract 2L. Now P subtract 2L is just P subtract 2L. That's all. You can't subtract those because they're different letters. So bring down 2W, divide by 2, and here's my answer. P minus 2L, all divided by 2. Now we could simplify it further if we wanted to. You don't need to. It could be a 1/2 P minus a 1L. Okay. Jessica, though, needs the same thing. Okay. Oh, sorry, you didn't see that. I'll back you up. My bad. Minus 2L. Okay. Bring down the 2, divide by 2. That's my answer. Or 1/2 minus 1L. Okay. Now Jessica needs the same thing, but she needs to solve for L. So P perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. I circled the L. That's what I want to solve for. So I have to get rid of everything around the L. So I got rid of the 2W first. I went minus 2W, minus 2W, P minus 2W. Well, you can't really subtract that. That's a P. That's W, so it's just P minus 2W. Bring down the 2L. Divide by 2, cancel it, divide by 2. So P minus 2W divided by 2 is the answer. Or, and that's a great answer, or if I want to simplify it further, I can make it a 1/2 P minus 1W. Okay? All right, then we looked at the next page, and we looked at our different forms. We know if we're looking at equations as a line, our first one is slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. I like that the best. It makes it easiest. We, from here, can get the slope pretty easily, negative 2/3, and the y-intercept pretty easily. Now, the x-intercept is not that easy. So the way you get the x-intercept is you let y equal 0 and solve. So if I need the x-intercept of this without graphing it, I let the y equal 0, and I solved. So instead of y equals negative 2/3 x, I went 0 equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So I solved minus 4 minus 4. Got rid of the 4. And then since I have a fraction, I multiplied by 3. And when I did that, I got a negative 12 equals 2x. And I divided by negative 2, and my x-intercept is 6, 0. Okay? You could graph it and see it, or maybe you just need to solve. Okay? Number 2 is in what we call factored form. The only thing factored form helps me with is giving me the x-intercept. I can go straight to the x-intercept. It is at 2, 0. It's always the opposite of this number inside the parentheses. Okay? Or you could set it equal to 0 and solve. To get the others, I think it was easier just to change it into slope-intercept form. So I distributed. I got it 4x minus 8. And so then I get my slope is 4, or 4 over 1. My y-intercept is 0, negative 8. Okay? Again, if you don't know how to get it, you can always set it equal to 0 if you want the x-intercept. If you set it equal to 0, remember, x-intercept, let y equal 0. So if I set y equal to 0 and I solved, I still got 2. Okay? Now 3 is my least favorite form for right now. Later on I'll like it. Right now it's in standard form. So what I wanted to do is solve for y. If I can solve for y, it makes it so easy. So here's my y. To solve for y, I first went minus 3x to get rid of the 3 because I want to solve for y. So I get 8. I get negative 3x plus 8. Brought down a negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 8. I divided by negative 2, everything. Negative 2, divided by negative 2, divided by negative 2, everything. That's a y, that's a negative over negative positive 3x. 8 over negative 2 makes a negative 4. Okay, so then there's my slope. there's my slope, and then there's my y-intercept. Now the x-intercept is not that easy. So again, how do we find the x-intercept? Well, we let y equal 0. So I did that. I let y equal 0, and then I went plus 4, gave me an 8, and then I had a fraction, so I times by 2, times by 2, and I got my 8. And I divided by 3, and I got 2.6, which I'm really glad, because if I had to graph this, that'd be hard to get that answer. So it's much better to have set it equal to 0 solved, okay? Then, turn the page for the last little bit, okay? So on the last little bit, we're going to go ahead and summarize, okay? So they call it general form. That's a really bad answer for it. It's really slope-intercept form. So we cross that off. Y equals mx plus b. What we like about this, you can get the slope easily. That's m, and the y-intercept, okay? X-intercept's a little bit more difficult. This one's in standard form. In order to get anything from standard form, you just have to solve. You have to solve for y to change it into slope-intercept form, okay? And then we said, which one is easiest? Well, I like to get the slope. I like it in y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, because there's the slope, and there's the y-intercept. Factored form gives me the x-intercept the easiest, but this one makes it the hardest, okay? My standard form. Now, finally, the last question I had was, what if, taking this question right here, of y equals 1/2 x minus 3, what if I want to take this question and make it into standard form? Okay, I want to change this into standard form. So the first thing I did is, because of the fraction, I want to get rid of the fraction, so I multiplied everything by 2. So I'm changing this equation into standard form. Okay, so I multiplied by 2, 2y, half of 2 is 1, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now I need the x over here, so I brought the x over here by 1, minus x, minus 1x. So then I have a negative 1x plus 2y, can't add those, can't subtract them, equals negative 6. And finally, I should have a positive here, positive value here, so I multiply through by negative 1, gives me a positive 1x, negative 2y equals 6. Okay, and that's what I had. And then the homework, I had a worksheet for you. I think it was skills practice, page 121. So if you have any questions, come see me, but that is the lesson.